Rare earths power this hybrid electric car. And for Australia's fledgling rare earths industry, the race is just getting started. The minerals are relatively unknown, but are set to play a big part in the 21st century economy.
You got up this morning, you picked up your phone, you got in your car, maybe you drove past a wind turbine. In all of these devices, you find rare earths.
Australia is the world's second biggest supplier of the commodities, but China dominates the trade, accounting for up to 80% of global production. With tensions escalating between Beijing and Washington, concerns are growing about China's stranglehold of the market.
We think it's risky to put all your eggs in one basket. That's why it's important to have a diversified, resilient and responsible supply chain for rare earths.
Others are blunter in their assessment. They warn the control of rare earths gives China an economic weapon to use against countries in their fight against problems, ranging from climate change to foreign threats.
It's cut off supply of rare earths in the past to Japan in 2010, and of late there's been a number of threats made that it might cut off supply to the United States in the future.
The dominance of China in the rare earths industry is fueling calls for the development of alternative supplies for technologies including wind turbines like these. That's put the spotlight firmly on Australia, which has much of the world's known rare earths reserves.
Western Australia has enough in the ground to supply the world for hundreds of years. The big challenge is changing the equation for businesses in the resources and chemical sectors to make it cost effective for them to both mine and process and produce these rare metals.
Despite the calls, Lynas says new Australian entrants will struggle to compete with firms from China, which are heavily backed by the state.
Rare earths are not for the faint-hearted. 30 years ago, the Chinese recognised the value and importance of rare earths and set about really developing not just their resource strategy, but also their downstream industrial strategy.
It's a risk acknowledged by the Biden administration, which commissioned a report that found greater involvement from Washington was needed to secure critical mineral supply chains. In February, the US government awarded $40 million to Lynas to build a rare earths processing plant in Texas.
It is certainly a top priority of both of our governments as we look at making these responsible, transparent, diversified supply chains.
Lynas's Amanda Lakay says the funding will help level the playing field against Chinese companies, but more assistance will be needed if Australia wants to take advantage of its huge reserves.
The issue of the distortion of the market by having such a dominant position from China, for us to be successful in Australia, probably will require some intervention or support from government.
A call for government action as trade tensions continue to escalate.